Market conditions remaining bearish, currently with majority bearish at 14 on S&P 500 daily time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, seeing that starting to shift here a little bit. Actually, with futures this morning up slightly, we're seeing that trend actually shift on the 1 hour back to majority bullish. We'll have to keep an eye on markets this morning, see if we're getting a little oversold bounce, moving right back here, back up into some of these corrective levels. You can see it's working. Let me pull back to the this time frame right here, and we can see that we bounced off that 618 low and working our way back towards that 57.54 number at the 382 retracement. So inside of that counter trend corrective block, not surprising to see some kind of a reaction right here, although we did see the reaction happening at the very bottom of the range right here. And let me grab my drawing tool, the 618 zone right here and the 382 zone. Stocks or markets working back inside of this corrective zone and watching for a bounce there. First at the 382, 50, 618, finally holding up with some demand down at these lower levels. And so pretty significant sell-off here and working our way back now, back to the upside. Whether this will be a counter trend and we continue to be in this overall downtrend, that would be the highest probability scenario currently. Let's take a look at breadth. We did see a nice pop back up in breadth, back to 37. It was down less than 30, so working its way back in the right direction there. More and more stocks participating in this move yesterday, and that'll certainly be one to be aware of. VIX, we've seen that retrace all the way back down and back into the 20s. It was pushing that 30 number. That is a pretty extreme number in the shorter term. When you really get some panic, that can pop up into the 50s and 60s. But during this most recent trend, it's been hovering right around topping in the upper 20s and pushed back down into the lower 20s, which is bullish for stocks. We're seeing on the short end of the yield curve, SHY continuing to hold up right here as rates are also just kind of stabilizing right here around this 4% number on the 2-year and the 10-year. TLT still in this overall downtrend, but holding up right here as well. Looking at some bullishness, we've got majority bullish on the 1 hour time frame. So we're seeing the shorter time frame, that 1 hour time frame, gaining some momentum, gaining some strength right here, and that could be an indication that bond prices may continue to drop or hold at these levels. You can see the 2-year at 4%, the 10-year seeing at 4.3%, and majority bearish back again on the 10-year. See if that does become a counter trend move here, just moving back up, counter trending and working way back this direction on rates, at least here in the shorter term. We'll see if that kind of becomes the shorter term trend. DIA, Dow Jones Industrial Average, also getting a nice move yesterday off of these extremes. Remember, when we get these fanned out trends, we go from compression to expansion. These expanded trends in the long term and the short term are just not sustainable. Anytime we get these really wide moves, they just don't last. We get a correction or a counter trend, and we get that trend compressing and expanding. So now we're working back and get the other direction into a compression state, and that's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Again, still bearish tone. Doesn't necessarily mean jump back in aggressively, but certainly jumping back in. We're still in a pretty significant overall bull market, even on the weekly time frame. We look at S&P 500 over the weekly time frame with this trend condition. We're looking at 10 and 4, so still getting some bearishness here. We've got a couple of red bars, a couple of weeks now in this downtrend towards the upper end of this expanded range, and that's just that volatility we're feeling now. In this chart, actually, that makes it look like it's not too bad. A little bit of a retracement back in momentum. That longer time frame, we still are in momentum, and so there still could be some legs in this market. Just some weakness happening right here. That weakness can continue, and so we're kind of at that turning point right here, whether we're going to get a bounce in the shorter term or ultimately if things are rolling over. Let's take a look at the triple Qs. I'm going to go back to the daily time frame here as well. We've got majority bearish on tech names. NASDAQ 100 is the triple Qs, so the top 100 NASDAQ stocks essentially have got that majority that are just in the downtrend. We're seeing IWM, which is small cap names, Russell 2000, back to a neutral trend here at 7 and 7 on the 1 hour time frame. Majority bearish, but you can see we've got this one bar that's kind of turning the corner, that extreme bar turning the corner back to bullishness across the board on all four of those major indices that we've been looking at here: S&P, Dow, Nasdaq, and Russell 2000. Let's take a look at USO, also showing similar type price pattern. Oil has been working, kind of slogging its way down around this 70 range. See if it does find any support. You're seeing that shorter term trend starting to stabilize here. Gold also all-time highs, majority bullish at 14 and 14 on both of those, and looking like it's going to gap higher here as well. So we could see a real nice blow off top, a significant exuberant type rally here in gold. I'd be aware of where we're at in this trend also, and that we are certainly at a massive top or a massive trend expansion in gold. You can see this price pattern on the weekly time frame where we're at, and so continuing that overall uptrend, but now working towards the upper end of that uptrend. If we jump back to our daily time frame, let's look at silver. Let me squeeze that back in here just a little bit and come over, and he's continuing to see that expansion on silver. Also a nice bullish trend. Gold and silver both, as we've seen equities continue to move back to the downside. Let's take a quick look at a couple of names today. Seeing some strength here in TAL in the education space. Good confirmation bar, back into momentum, and a good solid pattern there, increased volume on that also. And one other trade that we're seeing quantum stocks really wake up again. This is an interesting price pattern at this level. It's at the lower end of the range, so it's starting. We've had this big run up. All of them just got crushed, moving all the way back down again. Now we're getting some confirmation starting to move here in some of these names. That'd be a pretty aggressive trade, but wanted to point this one out. If those, these are reward to risk type trades. It's sitting at 20 and it's been at 50, and when we get a lot of momentum coming back into some of these names, they can move aggressively, and particularly if they're starting out at the bottom end of this trend, finding support right here at this 200 period moving average. That obviously was a massive move yesterday, maybe a little bit more of a retracement. That 60-minute time frame here, you can see it shifting back to majority bullish. Keeping an eye on that price pattern. Maybe watch for a little pullback. It's already pulling back pre-market right here at 1983. That symbol is ARQQ. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.